Hello, wanted to show some fun that I'm having with CoreML and FileMaker. Just another example of creating a vision model and incorporating that functionality into your FileMaker app. This one's just kind of silly, so I just wanted to kind of share it with you for a little bit of fun. So the intent of this app is a derivative from a punchline from a show that's on HBO. And what I wanted to do is create a vision model that identifies something that you've taken a picture of and whether or not it's a hot dog or not a hot dog. And you can get a copy of the file that I'm using in this demonstration that has this model embedded in it inside the comments on this video. So first of all, how do we create a vision model? Well, we need some data so that we can test and train our model. So first of all, you'll notice that I have two different folders here. The first folder that I have here is called train, and inside that I have two subfolders. I've identified the items that are in each subfolder by the name of the folder itself. So you see here, being a little silly, but I used the hot dog emoji and then I used not hot dog emoji. And inside those folders, you'll see here I've got a bunch of photos of hot dogs. Yeah, that one's hot dog, actually. So as I tried to get as many of these hot dogs as I possibly could, just so I wanted to kind of increase the accuracy of my vision model. So you'll notice I got a bunch of those hot dogs, and then I went and found on the internet some pictures of things that are not hot dogs. Of course, anything in the world that's not a hot dog is not a hot dog, so I concentrated on food. I was able to find these here at this resource in case you want to go check it out yourself and download these, so you don't have to go download all that information. So you see I've got the one folder for training the model, and it's got the two subfolders in it. Each subfolder is going to represent the classifier that the model identifies. Then I have another set. These are not the same photos. These are another group of photos that I'm going to use to test. And you notice that I have the same subfolders in there. So I want to have a train folder and a test folder that both have subfolders that are named that have the same structure and that are named the same way as the train one. So what do I do in this case? Well, I'm going to open up an application that's called Xcode. Just briefly, because under the Xcode menu, if you open up Open Developer Tool, you see they have an option for Create ML. This is a tool that I've been using for vision models. There are many different ways you can create your own models, but I'm going to go under here and say New Project, and I'm going to choose a template. There's a bunch of different types of models you can create using this tool, but I'm going to focus on Image Classifier, and I hit the Next button, and I will call this one hot dog image classifier. Then I say next, and I want to save this somewhere. And what CoreML allows us to do is train our data and test the data and then output a model. And it's pretty easy to do. So if you've already compiled all of your training and testing information, you just go under this section here for training and select files. So I will select my train folder. And it's done a little bit of evaluation. You see up in the input section right here, it says two classes. So it's identified that I have two different classes amongst the 400 or 500 or so files that I'm supplying to it. Now I'm going to select another set for training the model. And again, these are different images, and we've got the same number in each one of those. So at this point, I want to let CoreML do the training and creation of my model. So I hit the train button here and let it do its thing. So it takes a few minutes and it gets to the training. Now what we see here is now it's moving on to testing. So it's identified the two different classes. It's given us 100% on training and 94% on validation. That's pretty good. This is going to be a model that's going to give us pretty good feedback. So here you see the output. So the item count, 249 of each. The precision was 99%, recall 99%. We're in good shape there for our model. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the model out of the output section here onto my desktop. So there's my hot dog image classifier 1 model. Now I'm done with Create ML. So now what I'll do is I'll open up this file. So I'll open up this file, and we'll take users over to a hidden layout here called CoreML test. So in CoreML test, I've got a container field here where I'm going to store the model. Here's the model. I'm going to just drag it right in. And then in here is another container field where I can put a test image. And then over here on the right-hand side, we're going to see the results. So if we look into layout mode, you'll see that these are two different fields. So let's take a look at the definitions of those fields. So we've got Calc ML top. So what I've done in this case is I've used the JSON get element function, and I've wrapped that around the compute ML. And you see here that I'm identifying what the name of the model is just in this session, and I call it seafood. And I'll show you why that's relevant in a second when we get into the script. I say that it's an image. I point to the test image container. That's this one here. And then what I want is, out of all the classifications that are going to be returned, I just want the top classification, because the way that the JSON is returned for classifications is that it gives you the most likely match on the top. And I'll show you those here just in a second. There's another way we could have done this. There's also this way to do compute model. I'm also calling out seafood, the image, and I'm telling it where the test image, the image is in the test image container. But there's this other thing here, confidence lower limit 1 and return at least 1. I just wanted to give you two different ways that you can arrive at just the result that your model says is most confident that it has identified. Now, the second field here where I can actually show you all of the returned JSON, I'm just simply using the compute model function all by itself, also calling out seafood. That's the same model, image, and then the test image is the container here. But I'm using JSON list values to kind of spread them out, make it a little bit easier for you to read. Now finally, you'll notice that I've got this button here, and this is a button that is running a script called load ML model. And if we take a look at the load ML model, you'll see that essentially it's really just this one script step. It's the new configure machine learning model script step that was released in FileMaker 19. And this is where we're actually setting that value. So you notice seafood right there. I'm saying this is the type of operation vision that we're running as opposed to a general. And I want to load this model into this user session. I want to name it seafood, and then this is where I'm going to find the model. That's this field over here. So those are really the values that you're entering in when you're configuring the configure machine learning model script step. So let's take a look at all of these in action, at least in this test. All right, so first I'm going to load the model. So now our model is loaded, and I'm going to open up my folder, and I'm going to drop in, let's say, not a hot dog. So you see here it identified, first of all, not hot dog, because when I trained my model, I was using these subfolders to name the classifiers. So it actually came back with the name, not hot dog, those two emojis. But you'll notice here that it really just gave me the, whether it was not a hot dog, it gave me a full confidence of 1. That is the most confident that a model can be, because the values that you're going to get back are between 0 and 1. Now you might be thinking, hey, what about this one here? It says 1.54. Well, if you look over on the far end, that's an exponential of 8. So it's really 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1.54. So that kind of tells you that there's a little bit of rounding on this one. The point is, it will evaluate however many classifiers that you actually loaded into your model. So if I had 100 different things here, it would show all 100 with its confidence value. So these are called name value pairs that are in JSON format, which is great because in FileMaker we can then natively parse these out. So this one tells me that it's very confident that this was not a hot dog. So let's try a hot dog just to kind of make sure. So in this case, it says, yep, it's a hot dog. Over here, you can notice that it's only 0.99% sure, and there's that large exponential that we looked at before. I'll just throw a couple others in here to kind of show you the range. Don't be fooled by the exponential. Those are really a value that's lower than 0. But now the idea is that this is the full value that I'm getting back from the model is both name value pairs, but I was using the calculation that I showed you earlier to just trim the one off of the top that will allow me to identify the one that the model believes it has here. So that's how we set up our model and we train our model. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this file onto an iOS device and take a look at how our model works when we're actually taking a photo of something. Okay, so let's try out the app on the iPhone. If you want a copy of this file, you can just look in the description. There's a link to download it. And if you want to try it on your own iPhone, you're going to need to get FileMaker Go for 19. There's also a link for that in the description. And then when you open it up, you get to this screen. You'll see that there's instructions. All you got to do is tap the hot dog icon to try it out. And then you can just tap 2 fingers anywhere on the screen besides the hot dog to exit the application. And once you see the results that you'll see here in a second, you just tap them to return home and try again. So let's try this out. I'm going to tap the hot dog. And let's try the hot dog option. I'll say use photo.
Hot dog.
Great, that worked. So let's try something that's not a hot dog.
Not hot dog.
And you see that it gives us positive results. Now your results may vary. But most importantly, I hope you have some fun with this and that you find this file useful as you try to understand CoreML and how it can be leveraged in FileMaker Go, specifically a vision model like we've created here. So happy hot dog or no hot dogging this summer. Thank you.